Morning, it's Quant Trade Edge, and I wanted to do a special video on the VIX Spike trade. And I wanted to do it because it is actually in play today and it can be somewhat confusing, so I wanted to provide my viewers with a framework for what to expect. So if we take the VIX and add to it a 5-period RSI, and the framework for this was initially published by Larry Connors. I've since adapted it a little bit more. He's more of buy and hold with no stops, and that's not how I trade. But basically, you're looking for a day in which the VIX went up to the extent that the 5-period RSI increased by more than 13. I believe his number was 15. Subsequent research that I've done shows 13 works. But here's 50.53. Here's 72.87. So it's 22 points. It's plenty. When that happens, one of two things. There's kind of a surprise move in the VIX, and typically there's a bit of a overreaction in the stock market. So what tends to happen from that, we can look at it daily. This is the daily S&P. If you take that close of 44.10, and this sounds extremely weird, but basically just multiply it by 0.994, a 0.6% drop. And when you do that, you get 43.83 and a half. And if you look at the overnight low, it was 43.82 and a quarter. So that just gives you a guideline. This 43.83 and a half is a guideline. Then I would use a lower time frame chart to actually find a divergence or a climax or some reason to go long. And we can look at the overnight chart to see what we'd gotten at that time. 240, so it was into European Open. So by midnight we tested down there. Then we got a sizable bounce, and then we just double bottomed there, tested again. So I guess I'm not sure if there was anything clear here last night that would have stopped you at that point, at least not on the 5-minute. There we go, on the 15-minute. You've got this low, then I'm not sure if that was lower. This is 82.75, 82.25. So yes, that's even lower with higher momentum. So there was our pattern if we'd been awake all night watching it. But what I wanted to also make you aware of is it can push down again during the regular session. And the nature of it is the first 20 to 30 minutes pushes down really hard and makes, can create a lot of fear. And once there's that climax, there's a little bit of silence for a few minutes, and then there's a vacuum to the upside. So that doesn't happen every time, but just in case that happens, I wanted to make you aware that's what we would expect today. It's it's not necessarily a time to panic. It's probably more of something to buy into if you see that. So always use stops. Always stay open-minded. Oh, there we go. Wow, that actually was the 50% mark of the move off of this March low up until this high. So I'm sure that helps. But if we were to get a pullback again after the open, I'd be looking for that pattern. I'd be looking for that same bottoming range for a retest somewhere in this range, maybe slightly above, slightly below. And that's called the VIX Spike trade. So just a quick note on that, and we'll follow up with more details on that in the future, but just wanted to point it out since it's happening today.